LeBron James won back-to-back rings with the Miami Heat, brought a championship to Cleveland against the best team of all time, and not only brought the Lakers a ring, but in LA, he achieved the most points in NBA history.
Third quarter, LeBron James, a shot in history.
But even with this greatness, he still gets hate for changing teams.
And for him to go on there and drag us through the mud for 7 years and stab us in the heart, I hope he never wins anything in Miami. He is dead to me.
However, things will be very different in this reality, because we're going to 2010 and changing NBA history forever as LeBron decides to stay loyal to Cleveland. But without the help of his Heat super team, there will be several hurdles in his way of earning his first ring. And more importantly, over the next several years as we approach modern day 2024, with LeBron still loyal to Cleveland, his legacy will be put to the test as we eagerly wait to see if he can have more success in Cleveland than he did team hopping, which means his goal is to earn more than 4 rings while playing exclusively for the Cavaliers. And this journey all starts in 2011, which, as we know, the Cavaliers will be a one-man army playing through LeBron James. There was a reason he left his team in real life, and there was a reason they lost 63 games without him. With a bench that looked like this, it'd be a miracle if they won any games at all. But James clearly didn't get the memo, because in his mind, winning a championship was still the goal. He was coming off of back-to-back MVP awards the previous 2 seasons, and as the face of the franchise without other stars to share with, it was looking like he could earn a 3rd straight, but ultimately it still went to Derrick Rose, just like real life. Regardless, Bron's stats were picking up right where they left off the season before, and he was still the clear-cut top guy in the association, which would help his team have a much more successful season. But after losing a couple of big pieces from the season prior, they'd be making the playoffs again, but at a much lower seed than they were hoping. Cleveland lands 46 wins, which is impressive considering they only won 19 without LeBron, but it's only good enough to get them the 6th seed, meaning they will not have home court going into the playoffs, which meant they were kicking their postseason off on the road versus Atlanta. And while this Hawks team didn't have a bona fide star, it was well-rounded with borderline all-star talent everywhere, which meant LeBron was going to have to be on his A game if there was any chance of coming out on top, which, as you'd expect, he was doing just that. After years of going up against the Boston super team, this Hawks roster wasn't half as intimidating even with home court advantage. Quickly, James was taking control of the series and getting his team the lead. But just as quickly, the Hawks were retaliating, and as this series continued, it was becoming crystal clear that Atlanta was completely eclipsing the Cavs. For what it's worth, the Cavs forced it to a Game 7, but this was without a doubt the least competitive 7-game series I've seen in a while, and in the end, Atlanta was coming out on top. With yet another loss for LeBron, the criticism was continuing to build.
He's the most overrated, overhyped superstar in my history in this business. Seriously.
It was becoming clear LeBron wouldn't be able to get this done alone, but help was on the way. Cleveland was adding a new star PG to the rotation from the draft. Kyrie may have only been a rookie, but he was already the best teammate that LeBron has played with in his career. He filled in several holes on offense, not only with his shot creating abilities, but even as a secondary ball handler next to LeBron. That additional ball handler was creating more opportunities for LeBron, and as such, his numbers would see a slight increase from the year prior, although it still wasn't enough to earn the MVP, because in this reality, Kobe was earning his 2nd. But at the end of the day, LeBron was at pace for his real goal of getting a ring. They'd have the East's 2nd best record heading into the playoffs. But even though they had the 2nd best record, they're still only the 4th seed. It is home court advantage, but the way seeding worked back in this era, top 3 seeds was all the number 1 teams in the division, and Chicago did better than Cleveland, so now they're sitting at 4. And all their hard work was landing them a series with an even more well put together team than last year's Hawks, and it was headlined by a superstar in Carmelo Anthony. But this was looking like night and day to last year's playoffs. With LeBron averaging just over 32 points per game in the series, he was putting Cleveland firmly in the driver's seat of this series, kicking it off with an impressive 3-1 lead. And with the next round featuring a Bulls team missing their MVP Rose, whoever wins here likely goes straight to the conference finals, which meant a lot for LeBron, who hasn't made it that far since 2009. But Carmelo also hasn't been in the conference finals since 2009, and he was just as eager as LeBron to earn his first ring. With his back against the wall down 3-1, he was clawing right back into this series, and we would start to get a sense of deja vu as yet again the Cavaliers were off to a strong start, but were letting the other team regain control. Now as we head into Game 7 on Cleveland's court, both of these stars from the 2003 draft were equally eager to push past the other. In this massive pinnacle moment in the first round, neither side was letting off the gas, with both players pouring in over 30, and coming down to the final moments, anything could happen. At this point, anything can happen in this match. 35 seconds left. Cleveland's up by 1, but the Knicks do have the ball, and they have Carmelo Anthony, one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen in this sport. Baron Davis with it, though. He's playing the two-man game with Amari Stoudemire, who gets the lay. Up and in, 1-point lead New York. The Knicks did not waste any time getting that ball down low to Amari for a clean look, but Cleveland still has plenty of time, and they have a rookie Kyrie Irving. They have LeBron James, who's trying to get open here. They inbound it to Kyrie Irving, one-on-one with Baron Davis. LeBron calling for the ball there, but Kyrie wants it. He gives up to LeBron, one-on-one with Carmelo, 2003 draftee. Swings it back over to Kyrie Irving. He swings it around to Parker. Parker taking J.R. Smith. Get the ball out of this man's hand. LeBron setting a screen. Who does Parker think he is? LeBron driving past Melo to pull up Jay! LeBron James reclaims the 1-point lead. But with 8 seconds left on the clock, this game is far from over. The New York Knicks have plenty of time to get a quality shot here. Baron Davis with it. If you keep it out of Melo's hands, you're in great shape. They're playing that pick and roll with Amari again. Baron Davis, the deep three. The deep three's off. Amari couldn't get the board. The Cavaliers are going to be advancing. The Cavs win an intense game 7. And following the big win, just as we expected, the Cavs are moving into round 2 and completely obliterating the crippled Chicago Bulls. With the morale low after losing D Rose, this was a very easy series, and with a sweep, Cleveland was moving to the conference finals. But that's where this stories would take a turn for the worse for the Cavaliers. Up against a longtime rival of Boston, LeBron was putting on an incredible show as he attempts to get to his second NBA Finals, but the Celtics weren't going to let that happen. They had far too much talent for Cleveland to overcome just yet, and while we'll see plenty more of this matchup in the future, for now, it was one-sided with the Celtics dominating, and it was back to the drawing boards for James going into the offseason. With the pressure building on his legacy, he'd spend the entire offseason training, and specifically starting to build chemistry with his new star teammate Kyrie Irving. Entering his 10th season in the league, there was a lot on the line for his reputation, and as a reminder, the goal is still to surpass the success he found with switching teams in the reality we all know. And in that reality, this season, Brown was going to win his second NBA championship, which means Cavs LeBron is starting to really fall behind, and this season would be a big one. So with the stage set and the expectations sky high on the 29-year-old LeBron, he wouldn't disappoint for even a second. He was mustering up potentially the best season of his career to date as he led his team in nearly every statistical average en route to his third MVP of his career, but even more importantly, he was finding success in the playoffs. Round 1 was against the Nets, and it was ending just as fast as it started with Cleveland sweeping them. The second round was against the Sixers, and that wasn't going to differ much. It was another huge series for LeBron, and he was getting his team to the conference finals again, which would end up being a rematch against the Boston Celtics. Only this time, LeBron was a man on a mission, and with Boston's stars aging, this would finally be the time that James was coming out on top. He came into this series showing the world why he was crowned the MVP this year, and it was all paying off, as finally, LeBron James was making it back to the NBA Finals with the Cavaliers and had a chance for his first ring. And they picked a good year to get to the finals because somehow the Grizzlies made it here. And while they do have a pretty solid team that was really known for their nitty-gritty style of basketball, very physical, I just don't see any of these guys leading the way past a LeBron-led team. This was by far LeBron's greatest opportunity to win a ring. No Tim Duncan or Celtics super team in his way, so if he failed here, a conversation would have to be had. But we aren't going to have to worry about that today because he was fully taking advantage of the moment presented before him. And while I have a lot of respect for Memphis making it this far, they realistically were never winning this against LeBron. On his way to his first championship, he was playing nearly perfectly the entire series, which is far better than he'd do in his second finals against the Mavericks in our reality. With this series all said and done, LeBron was finally doing it. He was getting his first ring for our goal, but more importantly, getting the Cavaliers their first ever ring. And to go along with it, he'd earned the finals MVP, and his confidence was sky high. He had huge aspirations to repeat going into the next season, and we could be witnessing the start of a new dynasty. But that would be way easier said than done with Paul George in the way of the finals. PG gave LeBron issues this year in real life against his Miami super team, so by no surprise, with the less talented Cavs roster, this would be a real challenge. Nonetheless, LeBron was up for the task and was matching George shot for shot in what would end up being a climactic duel between the two. After 4, this thing was all knotted up and it could be going the distance. In game 5 though, George was putting on a once-in-a-lifetime performance as he brought in 51 points in one of the most dominant playoff performances ever. he'd get his team the 3-2 edge and had a chance to close it out at home. But to think LeBron would just fall over in defeat would be a major mistake, because on the road for Game 6, he was matching George's incredible Game 5 showcase with one of his own. By the end of the game, King James routed home 44 points and was hoping to push for a Game 7, but there was one huge problem. George yet again was taking over this series in the brightest moment of his career and would double down on his big games by outscoring LeBron here with 47 as the match was coming to an end. So this one's pretty much over. The Pacers are winning in a blowout. Pretty much all the bums are on the court now. Paul George had an incredible last 2 games to close this one out. Pretty much ends any hopes of LeBron trying to repeat, trying to start a dynasty here. And even though he did get one with the Cavs, he still has a ways to go to try to catch up with the ring chasing team hopping LeBron of our reality, if you want to call him that. But they're going to be losing here in 2014. But the following year, things were changing for Cleveland as they added another all-star, Kevin Love. History would remain the same during this stretch, with the Cavs making 4 straight NBA Finals and being crowned victors in 2016 after coming back down 3-1. But otherwise, they'd be losing to the Warriors the other 3 years. And as we exit this stretch to 2018, this era of the Cavaliers was coming to a complete end. Because in 2019, Kyrie was joining the Boston Celtics, which meant again, LeBron was left alone as the sole star with a team of below average talent around him. Regardless, James was having another impressive season and would be in the MVP conversation all year round. With Kyrie no longer commanding touches and with Kevin Love having a sharp decline, much of the scoring load would again fall on LeBron, who would take advantage with another 30-point per game season. Although with as amazing as he's been, his supporting cast was so bad that LeBron was missing the playoffs for the first time in years. I knew that this team sucked, but I did not expect them to only get 25 wins. The rest of the East is starting to get really good though, so this is not that surprising. LeBron's going to be missing the playoffs entirely this year. And while he made the playoffs the following season and even win round 1 in a close series against the Orlando Magic, come the second round, he was brought right back to reality against Philly. Joel Embiid surprisingly was playing well in the playoffs, and the Cavs didn't have any bigs that could possibly slow him down. It was progress, but again, Brown was falling short, and with only a couple years left, time was running out of reaching his goal. But some massive help was on the way in the form of Jared Allen. Not only was he a great rim protector for the team, but he was also a major piece to play in the pick and roll with LeBron. On top of that, Darius Garland was breaking out into all-star caliber form and would be a great running mate alongside LeBron. Even Colin Sexton was continuing to be a solid scoring option for the team, and almost instantly, this Cavaliers roster became dangerously good. With James still at the front of his group, he was leading the way into the playoffs with a respectable record at the top half of the East. But unfortunately for them, the Greek Freak was their opponent in round 1. Crazy they played hard all year to get the second seed just to face the Bucks in round 1, the team that wins the championship in real life this year. This is by no means going to be easy for LeBron and his team. However, the Cavaliers were looking to make a statement to kick this series off in front of their home fans. Everyone on the team was firing on all cylinders, and they were letting off an offensive barrage against one of the best defenses in the league. This thing would wrap up in a complete blowout as Cleveland takes an early lead in the series. Moving into game 2, the Cavs were still playing hard, but this time the Bucks were keeping up, and this thing was competitive all the way through. Giannis looked to be a man on a mission and was plowing through everybody in his way up until the final moments where the game was going to be decided late. With the Bucks up by 3 late in this game, this is a huge match for Cleveland. The difference between 2-0 in the series and 1-1 is going to be huge, especially a team as good as the Bucks. For whatever reason, Sexton is on Antetokounmpo, who by no surprise barrels to the rim and scores. So Cleveland did take a timeout. They put their starters back in the game. If any of you have played 2K, these Sims, they take the most random timeouts. Darius Garland with it now. LeBron is checked back in, so that is good news. They are down by 5. Darius Garland trying to get it over to LeBron in the post. I can see it now. 5 seconds left. Giannis on him. LeBron backing him down. The pump, the layup over. Giannis is off. The Bucks now have it on the break. Giannis is just barreling his way all the way down. He draws the foul off the drop, so that's LeBron's 5th. Antetokounmpo did end up splitting the free throw. 6-point game. There's still enough time, but you have to score here. Like I said, this is a big game here in Cleveland. On your home court, you really want to win this one if you can. Garland gets down low to LeBron. LeBron and Giannis again. The little fake. The pump again. LeBron nowhere to go. He's stuck down there. They're swinging it around. LeBron cannot get it done in the paint versus Giannis. Sexton with it now. He pulls a tough 3. Jared Allen trying to fight for the board. They can't get up, but Jared Allen gets the steal. Kicks out to LeBron. LeBron with Giannis on him. 40 seconds remaining in this game. He gets it to Darius Garland. Garland with the great defender, Drew Holiday on him. LeBron, third attempt versus Giannis. The drop step again. Nowhere to go. I'm pretty sure he traveled. He misses anyway. They foul on Antetokounmpo. What a sequence of events. Giannis, he even hits the first free throw, down by 7. I don't know if Cleveland has enough time. And with Giannis hitting both free throws, this one might be over. Unless you get a really quick 3 here. I also just realized LeBron's fouled out. This one is over. There's no way they win without LeBron James. They can't get into the paint versus this Bucks defense. That's off. That's going to do it. This series is tied 1-1. And it became clear that losing that match shifted all the momentum of the series over to Milwaukee, because following that game, they did not let up at all. The next 3 games in a row were all the Bucks, and after a great season, the Cavaliers are falling in just round 1. But with 2022 rolling around, this entire challenge was changing as the Cavs drafted Evan Mobley, and possibly even more importantly, were landing an all-star caliber Lauri Markkanen. Come the postseason, they were blazing past every single opponent in the East, winning series after series easily, and it was seeming unfair just how much better this team was than the others. They were winning the conference finals, and for the first time in years, we'd have a finals appearance. And while Morant will put on a show with some highlight plays in the finals, ultimately the inexperience and lack of talent on the Grizzlies would hold them back from having a chance here. Cleveland was far superior in just about every way, and we'd finally be seeing LeBron win again. He was now earning his 3rd career ring, which also means he adds another ring to our challenge. LeBron's definitely winning rings slower than he did by switching teams, but better late than never. He's now at 3 with 2 seasons left in this simulation. There's a really good chance that he could get more than the 4 he got with switching teams. It was such a high chance due to the Cavaliers acquiring Donovan Mitchell the next season. This level of offense alongside LeBron in his later years of his career was exactly what he needed, and it would come as no surprise. They'd be winning another NBA Finals to become repeat champions, and also now tie our ring challenge at 4 with a high chance of getting number 5. But they'd have one last hurdle that could legitimately be too much to overcome. Years ago, early in his career, the Celtics were a thorn in LeBron's side and prevented multiple championship opportunities. Now in the final year, again, a Celtics super team was all that was in the way between him and a finals where he'd be heavily favored to win. As you'd expect, this series would be a heavyweight matchup of the highest caliber, as the league's 2 major super teams were clashing in what could end up being the most intense series in NBA playoff history. Every single game would come down to the final minute of action, and with a game 7 on the horizon, that one would too. Yet again, the Cavaliers are in an intense matchup with the Boston Celtics. Game 7, Cleveland is up by 2. LeBron James with the ball. Likely whoever wins this game wins the championship. The Thunder are winning the finals, young and inexperienced. LeBron James backing down Jaylen Brown, using all his strength. He's down deep, forces a layup. Thompson's able to get the rebound, but he throws up a stinker. Jason Tatum on the other end, now down by 2 with the ball. Why did he reset? Why is Thompson even in the game, matter of fact? Either way, though, Tatum now, Garland on him. This is a bad matchup. Evan Mobley, you have to help. Mobley is there for the help, but Porzingis is there for the cut. Now with the game tied, somehow LeBron James is ice cold. Has he ever been cold in his entire career except against JJ Barea and the Dallas Mavericks? I don't think so. But they get it inbounded to Mitchell. They're still going to LeBron. Cold or not, they're going to LeBron James. Jaylen Brown on him. He has a wide open. Donovan Mitchell for 3! Bang! He extends the lead. What a shot by Donovan Mitchell. That very well could have just earned this team a trip to the NBA Finals. The Celtics, though, still 36 seconds left in this game. Jason Tatum with it. Evan Mobley on him. This is a good matchup here. Put some size on Tatum. Tatum is out of control. What is going on? They got Porzingis. What happened there? Boston playing a foul game. Garland on the free throw line hits the first. The second free throw, an opportunity to extend the Cavaliers lead back up to 3. Boston still has 2 timeouts. 26.5 seconds left in this game. Garland is a great free throw shooter. That is insane. Tatum with it now. He has Mobley on him again. Tatum with the ball. Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, Holiday, and White also on the court. Tatum sizing up Mobley, trying to force in the paint. Oh no, Derek White for 3 in the lead. Unbelievable shot from Derek White. That free throw from Darius Garland may bite this Cleveland team. 10 seconds left. LeBron James with it. Jalen Brown on him. He's wearing green. I was thinking green. LeBron, separation, the 3. Oh! LeBron chokes. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. A sim has never had me just so. Wow. I don't sound like I was into it because I'm sick right now, but I was into that match. LeBron James, I mean, that would have been a legacy defining moment in a game 7. I thought he was going to send us to a championship. Wow. In devastating fashion, the Cavaliers fall short, just one free throw shy of a possible finals. But even still, LeBron matched his ring total from his time team hopping. And on the bright side, did it with a much better finals record by staying loyal to Cleveland. Many consider LeBron the GOAT, but what if the 2 other GOAT candidates teamed up? Find out by clicking this video next, where Jordan and Kobe played together.